Hello everyone and welcome, and we are back in TGP series for the season 4.1. A lot of drama went on, it's very complicated, but we are in Hungary and this is really a very poor lap from me. Lots of lockups as I go round the lap, and I mean Bandicoot I think managed to get into the 128s while I was stuck in the high 130s. As you can see, of course you can see, it is a wet session, completely intermediate throughout. Rain didn't really vary that much. It did a little bit in the first sector, I'd say, but apart from that, not at all. But you see I'm improving my previous time, 1.3 off already in the middle sector, so let's see how much time I lose in the last sector to Bandicoot, as I lock up a lot and then slide in the water. But going round the final corner now, and Hungary is a track I like actually quite a lot. I'm just going to move my microphone a bit. I like it quite a lot. I've had some success around it in the past, and in the end I've qualified 10th, and only Harding is behind, and he was something like 4.3, so really I was the slowest of the really competitive guys, which isn't encouraging. But I have Simoncelli in front of me, Drastic Midget to my left, and then Drastic Devil north west. But we got the 5 lights in Hungary and we are away, and I've got a better start on Simoncelli and these fresh options, because remember no tyres were used in qualifying, so I got a really good start straight past Simoncelli and Drastic Midget on my left hand side. But then things start to go a bit differently, because Hickey makes a mistake, tags the back of Elusive Kev and goes into a spin. And then we got loads of people heading into this corner, and Deadly Cowpat nudges into DLT, and then I have nowhere to go, and I have to try and fix myself, and then I get a penalty for it, which is just typical of F1 2012. But I'm in 4th place, but I've got a drive-through penalty to serve, so it doesn't mean anything at the moment. But you can see Drastic Midget is actually really good at this track. He got a podium in Formula Xbox, but Simoncelli made a small mistake there. Can I catch up at all? No, because then I make a mistake on the chicane and Drastic Midget has to go across the concrete runoff, I think, to avoid me. And Elusive Kev was behind him, but Drastic Midget kept the place. But we're now skipping to lap 3. I decided to wait to the last moment, but then I make a mistake on the 3rd lap behind Simoncelli and just about hold it and keep it going in the correct direction. Elusive Kev gets past and moves up into 4th place. Drastic Midget yet again has to take the concrete runoff. Sorry about that. Should have given him more space or handed the position to him. But Kev has passed me completely. We've got Simoncelli on the right hand side. I didn't notice that at the time, because I was asking later in the race, how are you behind me by like 15 seconds? And he said, he crashed, so it makes sense why he was behind me. But as you see, I'm behind Elusive Kev, catching him up slightly, but I have to serve my penalty this lap. There is no other time, otherwise I get disqualified. So I'm going to come into the pit lane, and so far because this is the new season 4.1, it starts in Britain, Silverstone and Hockenheim. I couldn't take part in those races because I was on holiday. Well, I wasn't on holiday, I was just too tired to compete, because I just got back from holiday just after the drive from Heathrow. But as you see, I've come out ahead of Simoncelli, and I've got DLT around 4 seconds ahead on the road. I never catch him up though. The pace kind of stays the same really, although he extends it a bit. But on lap 12 I sidestep all the way out to lap 12 on the options, which most people couldn't do, except for Hickey, but I'll explain that later. And Deadly Cowpat's now on new tyres, which is why he's behind me, because he's already pitted, and new option tyres. And he gives me a little nudge, which gives me a speed boost, which kind of helps. But then he goes deep into turn 1. I'm going to cut straight underneath him and try and take him back using all my curves. I'm side by side with Deadly Cowpat into left-hander where he crashed into DLT. And there's a little bit of contact, but I think that's just because of understeer, because he couldn't really go any more left. But then I accidentally tap him on the way back in turn 3. Which is not what you want to be doing. But then for a whole lap I follow around Deadly Cowpat very closely, just about hanging on actually, as I said. But then on the last corner, second to last corner, I slide and decide, you know, that's it, these tyres are finished. I'm going to go for a set of the medium tyres. Now, the reason I didn't pit for medium tyres earlier is because I thought that I wouldn't be very comfortable on them, because I've racing the options quite a lot around here, but not on the primes that much. So I decided to stay out with them because I knew what they were like from the race start. So, you know, I could judge where they were. As Justin Midget sets the fastest lap of the race, 21.5, which is a lot faster than what I've done so far this race. But as you can see, we've got a certain Hickey up the road. Now, he pitted on like lap 2, so his options were mega old, as in they were falling off the cliff. And of course my mediums were just getting warmed up by lap 16. You know, I was starting to get into the groove of these medium tyres, locking up less and just more tidy driving. But Hickey is really struggling with the turn-in and the acceleration on the car. And of course I'm going to get DRS here on Hickey, which I'm sure he's not going to like. As you can see, I'm just going to go straight down his outside into the braking zone. Nicely done. All the way around the outside. He hasn't got the drive on those tyres to keep there, so I am ahead. But then something which shouldn't really have happened later in this lap, because here you can see that DLT is only like 2 seconds up the road. There is no real reason why I can't catch him. 2.3. Yeah, that's catchable considering my tyres are newer. Potentially I could grab DLT's plate off him. And I was talking about this just on this lap, and you'll see what happens if you get distracted. These two corners here are the corners I most like on Hungary. They're very flowing, but you see how much Hickey lost in those 2 corners to me. He was really struggling with the grip on the rear tyres, he was saying. Of course I wasn't driving his car, so I wouldn't know, but that's what he was saying, and I trust him on that. But I make a mistake coming out of that corner, yet again, just about hold it, keep it from going in the wall. But now, unfortunately, I fall behind a second of Hickey, so I don't get the DRS. So it doesn't mean that I don't get the DRS in the 18th lap, of course, because it's the last lap, and there's the line before you really get any advantage from the DRS. So now there's a 2-second gap for me to catch Hickey on his very, very old tyres. Now at the time I was like, wow, this could be really entertaining, because, you know, Hickey is fast, he's not slow, he's not a back marker. And although we have very few back markers TGP series normally, the only person currently is Harding. But I mean, like, you know, Simoncelli was a back marker, but now he's right up at the top. He's improved massively since he first joined. But now it's 1.4. As you can see, that's 6/10 taken out of him in one sector, or 4/10 or 5/10. I don't know however much you want to put it as, if you round it. But Bandicoot won easily, fastest lap. You know, pole, fastest lap on the win. Very good job from him. But look he's really struggling in these corners, and he actually had to back off for this right-hander here, so I wasn't expecting it, but I managed to just dive down the inside and hold it. I wasn't expecting to be able to hold it. I thought that I'd run wide and then maybe cut back into him. But you can see that there's 7-second gap to DLT, but you'll just see how much time that Hickey loses due to his tyres just in these few corners. Because you remember that I just passed him at the top of that hill over the end of sector 2. But by the line I have something like a 2.5-second gap, 4-second gap. So that's been it from me. This has been Hungary. It's a pretty rubbish result, but at least it's quite entertaining. So this has been Alex Dobb, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Points. Nice job.